Yo, what's up guys, John Boogle here, and we're back with another Cyclone guide. This time we got the Red Cyclone. Now from the previous lineup and the previous guide, it's very similar, it's just that it's a lot easier this time because instead of just having one trait to counter, of course the Red Cyclone has two traits, which is red and floating. So units like Pirate Cat, units like Witch Cat, all of those red crowd control units can work on the Cyclone. So of course we're going to use Pirate Cat here in this guide, and the reason I say it's easier than the White Cyclone is because we have more opportunities to counter the Cyclones and the enemies in this stage, because floating and anti-reds, if you pair them together, the anti-floating and anti-reds, you can pretty much destroy the stage, as we are going to with of course Pirate and Necro. And of course, like mentioned in the previous guide for the White Cyclone, if you have Cameraman or Sanzo, so Mercat's true form or Bishop Cat's true form, make sure you do get them because they can carry all the beginner Cyclones. But if you don't, do not stress, because with level 25 units, all you really need is just your main attackers. In this lineup, we're using of course Butterfly Cat, Paris, and Dragon with Bahamut. Or you can use a combination of like Bath Cat, maybe you have Bath Cat, or any anti-reds that are ranged. Of course, the main thing, like I mentioned in the previous guide, is your crowd control units. Units that slow, freeze, knock back the Cyclones, and weaken, you can throw that in there as well. Of course, we're bringing Majika Cat as just a little backup to weaken some of the enemies. If we get a huge stack of Majika Cats, we can weaken a lot of the peons that come out, and of course we'll always be weakening the Cyclone. But yes, pretty much the same thing. All you need to do is get your crowd control units. They could be level 1, but level 10 I would say is the ideal to survive against the peons. And if you do have Bishop Cat or Mercat, getting them to level 30 and true formed does carry all of the beginner Cyclones, so do keep that in mind. And a big thing here, 3 stallers is what you want to go with. If you do have 4, you can use 4, like Cube Cat, of course. If you do have Cube Cat, you can use it. And if you don't, Samba works. Any 75-cent staller works here. You just want to make sure you have at least 3 meat shields or 3 stallers. So keep that in mind. 3 meat shields, 2 proc units or crowd control units, and of course the rest is your attackers. Now even with level 25 or level 20 units, you won't need any power-ups here because of course there are more ways to crowd control the Cyclone compared to previously when we only had our anti-floating units. Now we have Pirate Cat, which is a very nice cat to use in the stage. Some people might say over pushing with Pirate Cat is a bad thing, because then of course you'll get that knockback lock, but you'll start moving into the Cyclone, then there goes all of your attackers. But with this strategy, of course, there's a whole reset and repeat method, of course, that involves pushing forward with Pirate Cat. But of course, you can go the classic way and just stack Necro Cat or Witch Cat, but in this guide, we're going to showcase the Pirate Cat strategy. But of course, like all the Cyclones, in the beginning what you want to do is get a nice stack of your crowd control units, that being any of your units that counter the Cyclone. And once you have a decent stack of them, that's when you want to start pushing with your attackers. Once again, make sure to not hit the cat limit too early, because if you hit the cat limit and you don't have enough of your crowd control units stacked up, that means the Cyclone might not get in crowd control and it might just start shredding through everything. So if you do hit the cat limit, make sure you do have a good amount of your crowd control units in there so they can hold off until of course your next batch of units move up into the battle. Now the Cyclone comes out with a bunch of one-horns, which isn't really that much of a threat as long as you have Bahamut or Paris or any other ranged attacker ready. You should be perfectly fine. Also, if you do have Pirate Cat, that'll pretty much just keep constantly knocking back every single peon in the way. But this is a perfect time to of course explain the strategy. As you can see, we pushed forward too hard and all of our units got shredded, but that's fine because there's a thing called reset, and what I mean by reset is luring the enemy back near the base or somewhere close to the base and pushing forward back again. And then, of course, once we push forward too hard, all of our units die. Then we reset again, lure the enemy back towards the base, and push forward again. And once again, this is only necessary because, of course, we're using Pirate Cat. But if you aren't using Pirate Cat, you can just get a nice freeze lock or a slow lock on the Cyclone and just constantly crowd control the Cyclone that way by just freezing and slowing it instead of knocking it back. Now you could always do a combination of the two like we're doing here, mixing the knockback and freeze strat together. Really just throw in your crowd control units and back them up with your attackers, and you should be fine. Using cheap attackers here does work very well because using stuff like Bahamut does come at a very high cost, and if Bahamut just gets a one-shot anyways, it's better off to just spam your lower cost attackers, which will of course stack up more DPS over time than Bahamut anyways. Of course, we're done luring, so after we're done luring, we are getting in that push phase where we just bully the Cyclone back to his base. Then of course, the Cyclone is eventually gonna kill all of our units because we're pushing so hard, but with the power of a Swimmer Cat, we were able to wipe out the Cyclone very quick there with our Paris stack. But if you didn't wipe out the Cyclone that quick there, then of course you just reset and repeat this strategy over and over until you kill the Cyclone. Now, there is a very important cat that drops from this stage, and that is, of course, Space Cat. So I highly recommend doing this stage until you get Space Cat, because if you don't have any good crit hitter units, you're gonna need to use Space Cat, and Space Cat is very, very helpful in getting a Crazed Cat very early in the game, that of course being Crazed Fish, because Space Cat can stack against Super Metal Hippo very easily. So it is a very nice unit to have against Super Metal Hippo in that stage. So getting Space Cat here very early is a crucial part to progression if you are going for a more smooth route through the game. Because of course, Crazed Fish only requires level 25 cats to obtain, and it is doable completely with the power of Space Cat as your critter. But yeah, drop a like if this guide helped you out. Of course, subscribe if you're new, join the hashtag Boogle gang. It's been John Boogle, and see ya.